Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video on Umamusume, we're going to be talking a little bit about the white sparks. Now, we've already talked about blue sparks and how they impact your stats, That's, I think, the main thing a lot of people are focusing on in their careers right now, getting speed, power, and stamina above 600, so they have a chance at getting a 3-star spark on one of those. We've also talked about the pink ones, which are related to like your being able to increase their proficiency in something. And if they're already an A, it also gives you a potential to bring them up to an S through inspiration. The biggest clear example being Maroon Zensky, who's only D in dirt. But if you use the pink spark, having enough dirt sparks, you can elevate her up to an A and potentially an S through inspiration through her career. And so I've talked about those, but I have not really gone into white sparks, which are another very big one that's going to determine if your Uma is a very good parent, because you may get that 3 spark finally on the blue, and you may even get decent on the pink, but if you don't have a lot of white sparks, they are not a very good parent, and a lot of people are not going to want to follow you for that parent, because the white sparks add even more value to that Uma. And the reason being is you can get not only more stats, but also free skills that you're not going to be able to get because your current deck does not supply it. And so what white sparks are, they come in 2 variants, as we can see here. I am on Game Torah here, and so right now I'm just under the legacy section of Game Torah. You can go in here, there's a ton of stuff on here. It goes over all the bonuses in that, and then all the different sparks. And then more of the advanced stuff, which I'll do more advanced videos on them. I'm trying to do these in kind of bite-sized pieces, as I learn it as well, as it can get quite complex trying to understand it all. And so this one's just going to be focused specifically on the white sparks. But they do come in 2 variants. You have your skill sparks and then the race sparks. The skill ones are kind of straightforward in how they work, in that if you acquire a skill as you're using it at the end of your career, or during the career, because you'll have it at the end of the career, you have a chance of getting a spark for it. And then with that spark, that's basically a white spark for it. And what it means is if someone uses them as a legacy, that spark during inspiration has a chance to trigger, which then gives them a hint for that skill, meaning they have the potential to buy it. So if you're missing something, your deck is perfect. You have the perfect deck for your Uma, but you're planning to build this Uma for a champions meeting that has specific conditions, whether it's a spring one or it's medium or whatever, or whatever other things in there. You can use these skill sparks to get those skills that are missing from your deck, because there are skills out there that might be very useful. I mean, one that kind of shows here, although this isn't a lot of stuff, and I think fairly easy to get in most decks already, but corner recovery is a very good stamina skill there. And so if you have that spark there, it can effectively guarantee, or not guarantee, but effectively be a way for you to get an Uma at some point, if you're lucky on the inspiration, to actually have it available. And it also gives hints. So if you already have it available, the hints can upgrade it to make it even cheaper, which is also good. So if you already have the skill available, this can make it cheaper as well, so you can get more skills in the long run. So there's that. And so that's the skill ones. How you get them is it's just random at the end of the career. Then you have the other one, which this is the one where it's really planning out your careers, and that is the race sparks. You have a chance to get race sparks from winning G1 races. It's random on the chance that you get it, but if you have to win the race to have a chance of getting it, and they work similar to skill sparks in that they grant different bonuses that you can get through inspiration. And we can go take a look at that here on a separate page. It says separate page here. You can also look at all the races if you go up to the top of Game Torah, go up here, and go to G1 sparks. Now, there's multiple reasons to want to focus on these. One of them is because it helps your affinity for compatibility amongst Umas, which I'll be talking about that in a future video on how to really maximize the value of like races and all that to get the most affinity and compatible Umas. But so that's a different thing. But this is kind of focused on the white sparks that you can acquire here. As you can see here, you have the race sparks. So like you have the first G1 that comes up here. You have the pink and blue one. One thing that I basically learned when I was looking at this is the blue one has more fans. So I always did the blue one. I was like, what's the difference? They both basically the exact same race, except this one has slightly more fans, so I always do that one. But when you look at the potential for the race sparks here, you have speed and guts as your stats you get there. Versus the pink one here, which has the sparks of speed and power. So that's kind of changed everything up there for me. That's the better one to go for. And so you have the white spark for that for this specific race. Then you have the one after it, that's right after it, a speed and stamina spark. Really good right there. And so it's only a chance. So you're not going to get all these. Like if you win every single race possible, you're not going to get all of them. You only have a chance. But it does mean you can kind of plan out and change maybe what races you do. And your best Umas are going to be the ones that can pretty much do the most races. That's why, as you look at people that have really good parents to borrow, they got Oguri Cap. Because Oguri Cap is good at both dirt and she's good at turf. So she can do both of those races. And she's good at mile, medium, and long. Not good at sprint, so you can't do the sprint ones, but can do pretty much everything. And I've done runs in it where I just pretty much did every single time there was a G1 race available, I did it. And got close to winning all of them. And I have quite a few sparks because of that. And so you kind of look through these. But not only do you get these ones, but you also have some more specific ones here. Like Okasho, they have the stat, but they also have a specific race course one. And when you click and look at what this one is, so this is basically kind of like a skill one, in that it's a skill you can get in there. It moderately increases performance at that Hanshin race course. You might think, well, that's not that big of a deal. I mean, I don't care about that in team trials. It's kind of random on what you're getting there, right? Well, there is the champions meeting, which we can kind of plan for coming up in the future here, which you can see based on when they came out in Japan. Now, they could change these up, so don't take this for guaranteed what's coming up. But you can know what the racetrack's going to be. You're going to know what type it is. It's turf. You're going to know the distance. You're going to know if it's spring. You're going to know that it's sunny. So those things are going to be important here. You know that one is, like the one I just looked at here. You know that it's a Tokyo one. So you're going to want to get the Tokyo race course spark on your parents for your legacy for building your champions meeting Uma. So it's going to be really important to do these Tokyo ones to hopefully get a chance at getting the Tokyo race course spark. And then if we have one that does the Hanshin one, then you want to get that one, which this one's, I think, the only opportunity for it in the entire thing. So at least in this scenario, it's the only chance to get it. So if you want to get that one, this is your only chance of getting that spark. Plus it has guts. So that kind of sucks. Now you know you're doing this alongside this one right here, which has the Nakayama race course and power. And because they're all on April 1st. Then you kind of see it, go through it, and you can see the rest of them here. You have your Tokyo race horses. Then you have one, the Takarazuka Kinen. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. That one got Summer Runner guts. Summer Runner, these ones are going to be important, as you know, as I just showed, with the courses for the Champions meeting. You're going to know what it is in. So the first one's like in spring, for example. So you might want to look for the race that has, for building a parent, for that one, Spring Runner, which is the Tenno Show. And then you have all these other ones. You have summer. And some of these are repeat courses. Basically, year 2 and year 3 have a lot of courses that repeat. And so there's the other strategy, you have a better chance, is to not do the same race twice. One clear example is going to be the Japan Cup and the Mile Championship. And so you're going to come up to this, and you're going to have the choice to do either of these. Now, one's medium and one's mile, but a lot of the Umas that are good at medium are also good at mile. Like, I think a good majority of them are good at both of them. And so you have the choice to pick on these. And so right now, since Tokyo is going to be the first one for Champions meeting, I pretty much always do the Japan Cup first. Also worth a lot more fans. And if I win this one, then the next year, when they both come up, then I do the Mile Championship, because you can't, it's not like you're doubling your chance or anything by doing that same race twice. So I'll do the Mile Championship to have a chance at this other one for the standard distance one. Moderately increases performance over standard distances, multiples of 400 meters. Now that one's going to be good for courses that have not the standard 400, which is a lot of the races. So that one's good as well. So if you can get both of those, that can make them even better for Champions meeting there. Now, if I lose the Japan Cup, for example, then I may not, and I lost the ones up here that have Tokyo, I may do it down here. Just more chances to get the different sparks. And so it can be a little bit tricky in kind of figuring it out in which ones you want to do. So you kind of want to plot it out. And yeah, it can be quite tedious running through these, because if you do every single G1, like if you have Oguri Cap and you're building her specifically as a parent, not only are you trying to get your 600 on your speed, stamina, and power, but you're also trying to do it in a way that makes it so you can win these races, win as many of these races as possible, which I think I've done 27. I think it's 27 or 25 G1 races in a single run. It might have a mix of G2s in there from requirements. So there's a lot of races you can do, but it's going to be tough because you're not going to be doing as much training. And so it's a fine line. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in a future video, as well as a big mistake that I was making, I think a lot of other people are making, which is you're trying to build your parents and your PvP Umas at the same time. You don't want to be doing that. Parent training is completely different than building the ones for team trials, because you're going to play them differently. The ones you're building for team trials, you have the good parents and grandparents, and you're going to be skipping races because you need to do training to get their speed to max, to get their stamina to where it needs to be able to finish the race, and then having enough power based on what position they're in. That's completely different than trying to build a parent, because in order to do that, you're skipping races. You don't want to skip races if you don't have to when you're building a good parent. So two different things. Don't mix those. I'll have more in-depth video on that in the future, though. But that is White Sparks at a quick glance. I'll definitely be trying to build up strategies for different Umas and how you can kind of build them and what kind of plans you might want to look at through the races to maximize these sparks. Those are going to be more in-depth videos coming in the future. This was just a first look at them and kind of how it all works. But yeah, if you like my content, if you could like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.